All right, last on the platter tonight here is a Star Citizen post from Camural. Sandi is coming back. Huh? Okay.
We are discussing whatever's Discord channel and says something very interesting. Hater115 wrote, post, rumor, CRG changes marketing strategy under new leadership. According to the recently posted video from Board Gamer, Chief Marketing Officer Elliot Chin was allegedly informed of the removal from CIG. From what I've heard, Sandi Roberts is rumored to have taken over the entirety of the marketing department. With this reportedly come substantial changes to the future marketing strategy of Star Citizen. Due to the persistent failure to deliver satisfying games to players, specifically Star Citizen and Squadron 42, CIG recognizes a crisis. I find this very strange because these are the only games CIG...
Wait, who? I'm confused here. Where are the quotes coming from? Due to the persistent failure to deliver satisfying games to players, specifically Star Citizen and Squadron 42, SIG recognizes a crisis. Where are we quoting this from? Who is this coming from? Sandi has always worked in marketing. Okay, Pipeline. Oh, is Hater still with Pipeline? I thought Hater left Pipeline because of some internal drama that was going on over there. But who are they? So this is quoting Hater? Is this like Hater's quote right now? I don't even know who we're quoting. Oh, no, the Hater's posting here. Okay, so Hater's posting. And Hater's quoting, okay, Hater's quoting Board Gamer? I'm so confused. According to the recently posted video from Board Gamer, says Hater, Chief Marketing Officer Elliot Chin was allegedly removed, informed of the removal from SIG. Okay. From what I've heard, Sandi Roberts is rumored to have taken over the entirety of the marketing department. Okay. With this reportedly comes substantial changes to the future of marketing strategy of Star Citizen. I mean, the biggest marketing strategy of Star Citizen is to actually make transparent videos like they do every single week with Star Citizen Live and Inside Star Citizen. That's their marketing. That and the fact that content creators like myself do videos all the time on the project. That's their marketing. I mean, literally, that's the marketing. You don't really have to go much farther than that. Okay? So, I mean, due to the persistent failure to deliver satisfying games to players, says Board Gamer, I would imagine, specifically I can't even imagine Board Gamer would say that. Like, this quote doesn't sound like a quote from Board Gamer, but okay. Due to the persistent failure to deliver satisfying games to players, there's only the persistent universe. There's only the persistent universe in Squadron 42. I mean, failing to deliver satisfying games makes it sound like they're developing 4 or 5 games. SIG recognizes a crisis. I call bullshit on this. Like, what?
She is making Star Citizen and Squadron 42. Yes, there are rumors about Soul Singer, but this is most likely a very small...
Official sales figures show low player satisfaction. The sales figures are fine. Like, where are these quotes coming from? The sales figures are absolutely fine. 2024 came in a little bit lower than 2023. It's not even a big, I mean, it's not even a big deal, man. Like, what is going on?
Project. Official sales figures show low player satisfaction. Oh, did someone at CRG notice that players are not happy about the boring, slow master mode we got last year? About a buggy game? People
been pissed about master modes for a while and still buying ships.
The same game-breaking bugs in a game.
And we all know that the flight experience is going to change over and over and over again until we're all happy with it, or at least the majority of people are.
For years by now, at times it's unplayable, but CRG doesn't seem to care. Not happy about the terrible new UI, HUD and MFDs we got in 2024, just because it looks cool and cinematic, but it's very user-unfriendly. Not happy about the green, murky universe we got in 2024. Wow, I wonder why players don't want to buy ships anymore. CRG will instead be focusing on core game products rather than expanding into additional products and projects. Here's a LinkedIn page of Elliot Chin. He is still listed as Chief of Marketing. But maybe he didn't have time to update his page yet? Does this mean CHE finally realized they have to change? Realized players don't like master mode, don't like the terrible UI hard NMFDs we got last year. Realized
What's up,
real
Sutter?
murky universe is not something
Are you
players
understanding
like.
what's going on,
Master mode
Master?
alone
If you are,
costs
let
you
me know.
millions of dollars, Chris. To make this perfectly clear, I don't want Star Citizen to fail. I want Star Citizen to become a fantastic game and a huge success. But for year 13 and $1 billion, Chris and CRG have achieved very little. A buggy
I don't know. That's a pretty bold statement. I think you couldn't be any further from the truth. Are you telling me that they haven't achieved anything? Like, let's take a big step back and rethink this for a moment here. We're going to negate all the progress that we've seen along this way because we're mad that we don't have it in our hands like right this second. Like, come on here. This is insanity.
tech demo with missing basics, missing mechanics, time sinks on top of time sinks, tedious and boring gameplay, and almost no physics. No one expects perfect physics, of course, but we don't even have any mass simulation in year 13. Ships, vehicles, containers, everything has the mass of an empty paper bag. Yeah. I have no confidence in...
Listen, I have been banging the table about the physics grid and the feel of the physics in this game for a very long time. Okay. But I wouldn't just like throw the entire thing away because of that. That's
Chris and the leadership anymore. Chris is still prioritizing eye candy,
I can't believe Cam's still talking about how they need to get rid of Chris and get another person in there. This is the dude that like brought that, like Chris's leadership must count for something. It was Chris's dream. It was Chris's ambition. It's Chris's vision. It was Chris's ability to bring people together, to work together. It was Chris that got all the offices. It was Chris that got the people in, the teams in, the hiring, the employees. Like, I don't know if anybody could have done it better. It's Chris that got it to this point. To say that you're going to just like throw away Michael Jordan from the Bulls, no. You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense.
Time sinks and cool cinematic, and Chris is still neglecting basics.
I can't believe Cam's still talking about this like
some
this.
Very basic physics, fun and interesting gameplay. CryEngine, or call it Star Engine, was not a bad choice for the initial November.
Listen, I like Camural too. Does great testing on ships. It's very invaluable, the information that he gets on all of his vids that deal with ship testing and bug testing. Love it. I love the dude when he does that type of videos, but when he starts talking about how they need to get rid of Chris and bring in some like alternate person who's going to lead better than Chris does, I just don't see that. I don't see that happening. I think that would be a huge mistake and a huge backstep. Like if Chris, if that first off, let's get something straight. That can't happen. It's not composed that way. As a business, they can't kick Chris out.
2014 release of Star Citizen and Squadron 42, but by now Star Engine is old and obsolete, ancient tech. CRG's code base is rotten. We have quick and dirty fixes on top of quick and dirty fixes on top of quick and dirty fixes, and so on. You cannot add new things to your old code base if your old code base is rotten. So far, server meshing didn't fix anything. We have the same lag, we have the same do things, we have the same interaction delays. Of course, some people will say, yeah, it's the first iteration of server meshing. We will get dynamic server meshing and then everything will be fine. I'm hearing the same song and dance for 12 years by now. Just wait for the next Jesus tech and it will...
Listen, the way that it's composed of, it's a privately owned company. That has shares, private shares, and I believe they're split up between Chris and Aaron and Ortwin. I'm pretty sure, and I would imagine the way Chris has composed the deals that Chris probably has majority shares of the company. I would have to imagine that that's the way it is. If it's not, that's not too smart. But yeah, this isn't going to happen. Like, you know, The project wouldn't be anything without Chris. I can't even believe that Cam's talking about this. This is crazy. This is crazy to me to think that you'd want Chris Roberts out of Star Citizen. Do you think it's going to get any better? Dude, if they kick Chris out and bring some douche into the project, man, and like, who's going to say the guy's going to be able to, they'll probably just deliver it like this, and that'll be the end of that. And that'll be a giant, like, stinking fish at the end of the day, man. They'll just bring somebody in, they'll tweak it a little bit and say, here you go, it's done. I don't want that shit. That reminds me of the shit that happened to Dual Universe. There was some big inside mix-up, and they got rid of the guy from NovaQuark, the CEO who thought about Dual Universe, who created Dual Universe, who put his passion and his heart into Dual Universe, and then somehow, some way, goodbye to that guy, and then the game went downhill. It just was a giant turd after he left. You take away the heart and the passion of this game, this Chris Roberts, you take it away, you're going to be sorry for that, because you're going to get a game that's a shell of a game. And they'll push it out fast, and then you'll have a big stink pile, man. I can't even believe Cam's talking like this. It makes no sense to me.
Everything. Chris, people are tired. People are tired playing this buggy game where even basic things don't work. You cannot even give players something as basic as a decent UI, a decent inventory system, a decent item interaction system. Something every small indie dev can do with much less money than you have, Chris. And Chris, you removed people who knew what they are doing, for example John Pritchett, but he's by far not the only one, and replaced them with cheap, young, inexperienced people. Do you really think this can work? Well, we see now it doesn't. Chris, you have promised us the world in the last 12 years, but you have delivered very little. If you want to get really sad, watch the old 10 for the Sherman episodes that are still on Star Citizen's YouTube channel. I don't think Sandi taking over marketing will change anything. Thanks for
marketing is such a small piece of the puzzle when it comes to this. They've already got like a very strong revenue driver, which is ship sales. They don't need marketing at this point. The gentleman that we did the piece on last week, who was their strategy officer, the CSO, can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he had done a lot of work in gamifying ship sales. He was the guy that got him to this point. He's gone now, but I think the fact that the ship sales are still strong and that has already been gamified, you don't need to screw with it anymore. It's already there, and it's bringing in tons of cash. Now, over time, yeah, they got to be careful. This is why I say they need more attention towards John Crew and the ship development team, and need to bring more people in so that they keep streamlining and the process and get these ships out the door. That is number one. That is essential, because that is what's bringing in the cash. They got to make sure they make the process streamlined, that ships are coming from white box to gray box. They're going and they get where they need to go, and they're playable quickly. That we've got ships we've been waiting on for ages. Totally can't stand it. They need to completely look at the ship sales, the ship department, the designers, and the way they go about introducing and bringing these ships out into playability. That needs to be streamlined. That's need to be streamlined for a very long time. But even the fact that it is in the state that it's at and people are still buying just shows you how strong that process is. Ship sales are like 85% of the revenues that are coming in for this game. Yes, the chief strategy officer that gamified the system is gone, but the system still remains. So keep that system running. And marketing, I don't know, man. Personally, I always felt like it was us. I always felt like the fans did the marketing. I mean, as a guy who's been on the internet talking about Star Citizen for 10 years, I mean, that's marketing right there. That's and me and many others on the internet. That's marketing. You know, so big deal. Sandi is the head of marketing. You know, I don't know. This does not seem like a big deal to me.
for watching, and see you next time. Bye. Auf Wiedersehen.
Yeah, Hugh says Camural keeps saying the same thing over and over. This is why I'm not interested in watching his videos. Stunner says Cam is missing a huge point, in my opinion. Tech has to be developed first as a priority, and we are still just at the end finishing up the dev on the game tech. Yeah, all the rest can and will come. Yep. Matt South says the hang up is purely the tech in the back end. People are still not getting it. Yep. Yeah, and the marketing to me has always been us. They've got the dream scenario. All they have to do is they have to look at the way that the ships, the pipeline of the ships, from the front end to the back end, and make sure that the ships get out relatively quickly. And this has always been a problem for them. Yeah, Maddie says transformative works in marketing. Rev. Maddie says if you can get fans to sell your shit to other fans, yeah. The game literally right now sells itself. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I just think this narrative he's got about Chris Roberts not being important and they can just boot him to the corner like it's nothing and like replace him with any schmo to come in and like make the project any better. Man, that in itself is a pipe dream. I think you better be careful what you wish for. If Chris Roberts is gone, man, you're going to see the sales drop right off the bat just because of the news. Could you imagine that news? Chris Roberts gone. I don't even think this is a reality. I don't even think this is a possibility. I don't think Cam gets this. As far as I'm concerned, as far as what I know, the way that the shares are split up, I would make a pretty healthy wager that Chris owns majority share and has a majority stake in the company, so that nothing bad could ever happen, and that the company couldn't be taken over, or that a board could not kick him out. I don't think it's even composed that way. So first off, let's be real here. No, that's not going to happen. Secondly, in some weird alternate reality where he actually is not the majority stakeholder or shareholder, and the board decides to kick him out, just that news alone, could you imagine how the sales would plummet? Imagine the news came through that Chris Roberts was gone with Star Citizen. Do you know how bad the sales would go? The sales would drop 50% immediately. Immediately. Just on the news. People would give up. They'd say, oh, Chris is gone. Fuck it. Well, there's shares. There are shares. So, what I'm saying are the shareholders, the way they split up the shares. You know what I'm saying, Daft? I'm pretty sure there are, because the Cowders put an investment down. You'd imagine there'd have to be some private shares, or there'd have to be, just because a business isn't public doesn't mean there aren't shares. My mom owns a business, like a private business. She's an interior designer from way back. She's old school interior designers, when people actually wanted interior designers that didn't go to Home Depot. And when people invested in her company, she had shares. It's private shares. So, I'm just telling you right now that there would be no way that this could ever happen where if there was a board, I'm pretty sure that Chris is majority stakeholder, and there's no way any board could kick him out, or the others that were invested could hold a vote and just say bye, Chris. And if they did, that would be the dumbest thing they ever did, because like I said, you would lose so much in sales. People would take that news, myself and many others, we just go, what the fuck? He's iconic, whether you like him or not. The man is iconic. The man is a huge dreamer. There's been it's insanity. It's insanity. I can't talk about it anymore. This shit just makes me insane.